Moving on. Amendment 3. Adult personal use of marijuana. Allows adults 21 years or older to possess, purchase, or use marijuana products and marijuana accessories for non-medical personal consumption by smoking, ingestion, or otherwise. Allows medical marijuana treatment centers and other state-licensed entities to acquire, cultivate, process, manufacture, sell, and distribute such products and accessories. Applies to Florida law. Does not change or immunize violations of federal law. Establishes possession limits for personal use. Allows consistent legislation. Defines terms. Provides effective date. All right, so here's the summary. The amendment's financial impact. The amendment's financial impact primarily comes from expected sales tax collections. If legal today, sales of non-medical marijuana would be subject to sales tax and will remain so if the voters approve this amendment. Based on other states' experiences, expected retail sales of non-medical marijuana would generate at least $195.6 million annually in state and local sales tax revenue once the retail market is fully operational. Although the timing of this is occurring is unclear. That's what they're telling us. But we don't know when this will happen and if this will really happen. Under current law, the existing statutory framework for medical marijuana is repealed 6 months after the effective date of this amendment, which affects how this amendment will be implemented. So we don't know. A new regulatory structure for both medical and non-medical use of marijuana will be needed. Its design cannot be fully known until the legislature acts. However, regulatory costs will probably be offset by regulatory fees. Other potential costs and savings cannot be predicted. This proposed constitutional amendment is estimated to have a net positive impact on the state budget. This impact may result in generating additional revenue or an increase in government services. So, I love how they're selling it to us as like, you're going to get money through
I was just
giant corporate takeover.
So the carrot is $195.6 million.
And it's going to increase government services. Exactly what we need. Bigger government. So, Abby, you originally, a few episodes ago, brought up a little bit of history on how this bill and who is sponsoring this bill.
I'm looking. I'm actually pulling up the initiatives and amendments database because they always show the sponsor of each of these initiatives on the. So the actual sponsor is Smart and Safe Florida.
Oh, right.
But True Leave, I think, has put $70 million.
I heard $86.
$80 million into Smart and Safe Florida.
Yeah.
Why?
Tell us, Abby, why? Why would True Leaf spend $86 million to try to get this passed?
Because
it's going to give the government so much money.
It's going to give them so much money.
Exactly.
Oh. That's not in the text.
They don't say that.
If you look at who owns the majority of the state licenses for this, for the medical marijuana, I believe, it is mainly True Leaf.
Surprise.
Because in accordance to this is it will make it easier to switch over the framework from medical marijuana to recreational.
Well, you don't need a license for recreational.
No, but it's already established.
Okay.
So because True Leaf is already established and has basically, 3 in every down, that then they're already set up to be able to say like, hey, we already have the
infrastructure.
So now we can be the ones to roll out the recreational use.
Which means also, like in other states where this is legal, I think a lot of them have that you can grow it yourself like any other plant of like a small amount.
That is not included in this amendment.
That is not included in this amendment.
Not included.
Other companies will not be able to come in. Only True Leaf.
Correct.
Right?
From what I understand, yes.
So that means if we pass this as a state, our huge mass amount of revenue that is coming to us from the state will be coming from sales through one corporation, which gives them tons of control in this state. That means they're going to run politicians to get other things they want. That means it's going to tie up our politicians to have to deal with the fallout of this in legislature, writing bills, all kinds of stuff.
And there's a lot of people saying that they're not going to be able to regulate this through legislation.
Correct.
They're not going to be able to ban public smoking
because of the fact that this goes into the Constitution.
Yeah.
So our
it basically makes smoking marijuana a constitutional right, just like fishing and hunting.
Correct.
It equates smoking marijuana with fishing and hunting. Holy moly. Absolutely.
If that passes. If either of them
If
passes.
either of them pass. But that's what they're trying to sell us.
Or like the Second Amendment or free speech, like
Yeah, you have the right to
on a state level, it
smoke a
equates
doobie.
smoking joints.
So basically, if you have a homeless problem and they're smoking marijuana outside of your business or
Your
apartment
house.
or your house or whatever, there is really nothing you can do about it.
Mm-mm. And I mean,
And it
how-
doesn't mean that that it can only be in vape where you can't smell it. Like, this is flour. This is the stinky stuff.
all of it, the skunky smell.
Skunk weed.
It would not be good. Like, okay, if you're at Disney, you go to Disney. I don't know. I haven't been to Disney in 1,000 years. I doubt they are allowing people to, even with medical licenses, to be wandering around smoking pot. You're at Disney. You're out with your kids. There's nothing prohibiting someone from standing right next to your kids smoking this within. They're breathing in the secondhand. They're getting contact highs, a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing prohibiting that from happening.
And the one thing that I was
In this-
amazed to find out about this is that it would make Florida the #1 grower in the world, and it would make Florida the #1 seller in the world.
Is that really the reputation we want to have, guys? Is that with Florida man and biggest pot dealer in the world?
I think for those that are interested in having recreational use, to become legal, it really needs to go through the state legislature, and there needs to be, clear confinements and clear definitions, and no smoking in public places. Be 21. I actually think that it should be 25 and older because the brain needs to be fully developed.
It doesn't say anything here about prohibiting smoking and driving.
Nope.
How are they going to again, anytime? So it doesn't mean the legislature won't be able to try to pass laws, but now they have to pass them tiny, and they have to fight for them and make sure that they don't go against anything written in here.
And everyone that they try to do is going to come up against a Supreme Court issue.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna have to go straight to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is going to have to be able to determine whether
Florida,
or not
Supreme Court of Florida.
Yeah, whether or not that this particular violation or this particular, situation is now in a violation of their constitutional right.
Yeah. Because it doesn't say you can't smoke it and then go drive in here. So my constitutional right is I can smoke it and drive, can't I? I mean, I don't know if that's already technically illegal. I'm sure it is, hopefully. But would this nullify that? I mean, I don't know. I'm not a legal expert, so I'd be very curious.
Is that it does cause impairment. So, there's laws against driving while impaired.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that would still constitute as a DUI under those same legalities, but I'm not an attorney or a lawyer to know for sure.
If we have any out there, weigh in, because I'm very curious.
But like I said, you could be anywhere. You could be on the train. You could be on the Bright Line, and what's to stop people from saying, well, it's my constitutional right? They could probably,
And you really think that the 21-year-old thing is going to stop kids, high school, college?
No, they all get fake IDs now.
Right. I mean, come on. This is going to have a massive increase. It's going to have an increase of impact on workforce. How are you going to, as an employer, say, you can't do you know how this would work? Because you're an employer.
So for right now, we're a drug-free workplace. And when the medical marijuana passed in 2016, that was the question that came up. Like, can you still enforce drug-free workplace with an employee that has a medical marijuana card? And the answer was yes, we can. We can remain a drug-free workplace. We can, subject them to substance testing that includes marijuana, and we can decline employment or terminate employment if they fail that drug test. I don't know how recreational marijuana, because this is a constitutional amendment.
That's the question.
And I'm telling you, I was talking to one of my friends at church a couple weeks ago, and he had a small business, like a pool service business, and since sold it. But we were just talking about how this amendment specifically would impact, impairment at work, auto accidents, workers' compensation claims. Like, all of that would increase, because when you come to work impaired, it just increases the chances of near misses, of accidents. And we're a drug-free workplace, but I'm telling you, these guys they get hurt. I mean, it's just a fact of life. Like, you are in a physical labor market, and your guys are going to tweak their shoulders. They're going to hurt their low backs. They're going to, and then you put in a substance which impairs the ability to think clearly and quickly, and things just go wrong.
Yeah, this could be very dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely puts employers at a higher risk. I mean, our car insurance, all of that kind of stuff.
And car insurance is already going sky high through the roof.
Exactly.
Vote no.
I heard
I said I wasn't going to give my opinion, but now I am. Vote no.
So I pulled up the full text of Amendment 3. And there, like I said, the ballot summary is one thing, but read the full text of these amendments, especially 3 and 4. But
especially
there
4.
There are limitations. There is a section, Section C of Amendment 3. Now let me see. Nothing in this amendment prohibits the legislature from enacting laws that are consistent with this amendment. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
It means whatever they want it to mean when they go to do something.
Now, it does say here, nothing in this section shall permit the operation of any vehicle, aircraft, train, or boat while under the influence of marijuana.
All right, that answers that question.
So you cannot drive while impaired. Let's see. Nothing changes federal law. Duh.
Just say no.
Nothing in this section shall require any accommodation of any on-site medical use of marijuana in any correctional institution or detention facility or place of education, employment, or of smoking medical marijuana in any public place.
Wait, repeat
but
that.
But this is medical use of marijuana. So there's restrictions on, or there's protections for medical marijuana in these limitations section.
But it's not for medical marijuana. It's for
I know.
It's so screwy.
But you can still get your you can still qualify for medical marijuana usage.
Yeah.
Right, but if it's recreational, why do you need to do that?
You don't.
Right. So why would that be even acknowledged?
But I guess it would determine whether or not it was for, let's say you were at work and you got into an accident, like you hurt yourself on the job. If you were a recreational user, that means that you are not being responsible because
I guess and if you're a medical card holder,
it's more of a medication, and that you should have informed your employer that, you were on medication.
Now, something that Diana just brought up in the chat, like all of the small hemp businesses in the state are very much against this bill.
Because it would take them out of business.
Yeah, it would effectively cause them to shut down completely.
So big business. I mean, come on. We are trying to get away from this whole thing. It's not the party of the big business anymore. Let's not do this.
And I've said this once, I'll say it again. If you've got John Morgan from Morgan & Morgan as one of your spokespeople for your what you're trying to get passed. If that's who you got, championing your cause, I'm automatically voting no for it. Automatic
no. Shunned.
Yeeted.
It's a no for me. It's going to be a no for me, dog.
I mean, the biggest thing for me was knowing that we would be the #1 producer, seller, and grower of marijuana
not
in
a state
the
that I want to
world.
raise my kids in doing that. Sorry, no.
In the world, that's what we're going to be known for. Not the
free state of Florida.
Correct.
Not the beautiful beaches. It's going to impact tourism for sure. For sure going to impact tourism because there are a lot of people who come here and they don't like the way. Listen, I spent a week in a state where it is legal. And it stinks. And it's a beautiful state. Gorgeous. It stinks. Everywhere you go, it stinks.
Yep. So the new logo slogan for Florida would be Florida where the weed grows.
Free.
Where the weed grows free, yeah. No, you can't because you can't own plants and you cannot grow it.
Oh, yeah.
You can't grow your own.
So they want to make it so that it is purely big business for marijuana uses as well. So you can, I mean, in Michigan and I think a few other states where recreational marijuana is legal, you can at least grow your own plants. I think you're allowed 3 or 4 plants or something like that. Where here, you're not even allowed your own plants. You can only purchase it from an approved supplier.
One supplier.
This is like such an insane
it's not
thing.
This
so if you don't like their product, you may want
This amendment
consider-
has nothing to do with liberty. It has nothing to do with
No.
personal
That's correct.
freedom.
It has to do
it's
with
not
making
libertarian.
a corporation a crap ton of money.
It's all about big business and giving all of this revenue and business to one corporation.
And we have a surplus in the state, so it's not like we're like dying for funding.
Yeah,
and
we
this
don't
is
need the
something
money,
that we're
bros.
trying to do to be able to bring income into the state because we're struggling. That's not happening. We have millions of dollars in surplus. We don't need it. This could be done better if that's something that people want to work on. But this in the way that it is, it only benefits
One person.
the top 1%.
Yeah.
and
Essentially.
everybody is voting no on this. As far as like a lot of our Republican leaders, the RPOF is saying no on this. I know that President Trump and a few other people said yes, but it's also coming out that they may not understand the full aspects of it.
Because I love how they pull that card. Are you voting yes on this? Dude, don't you think the guy's got a lot of stuff going on in his head? Like,
Right.
oh, yeah, I know exactly what amendment you're talking about.
Right.
I just got
Maybe.
shot at, but sure.
Maybe he'll find our handy dandy amendment guide and he'll take it to the
That's
ballot
right.
box with him.
Oh, I
right.
mean, he is going to vote in Palm Beach County.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, gosh.